Retail Therapy. My name's Will. Barrett Dudley. How we doing today?
Man, we're doing good. Just got faded up by my girl Corinne.
Looking good
over at Deseo Salon. You know, had to clean it up a little bit before the European vacation.
It's looking good.
Thank you. It's like right immediately after I get it cut and it's all and it's kind of like looking a little high and tight. I always feel a little bit like Gary Busey from Starship Troopers.
Okay.
You know, just like a little bit, but
a little blockheady.
Yeah, but like in a good way.
Yeah.
You know? Like it's feeling trimmed up. It's feeling edged up.
Are you the type of person who says that your haircut is better like a week later?
Yeah. So Randy and I have actually had this conversation before. Randy likes like 2 weeks.
2
of
growth,
growth,
I think
which is insane. That's
too much.
What's happening there?
Just don't get that much of a haircut.
I think it looks best like a few days in. Like because it kind of shocks your hair a little bit to get all whacked up. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So it's got to even out a little bit. It's got to blend. It's got to just settle a bit. So I like to, before a big event or a trip or something like that, I like to be kind of within a week, but not like the day before.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah, the last time I did a day before for a wedding, I regretted it.
Yeah.
But I'm also the type, I like when people are fresh out of the haircut. There's something clean about it. There's something nice about it.
Like
it's
I'm feeling energized today because of this cut.
When I get a haircut, there's certain times when I get a haircut where just simply getting a haircut makes me feel like I lost 10 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I feel great about myself right now. I'm flossing right now. I'm happy. I got a big haircut ahead of me, Barrett.
Yeah, you do.
Friday afternoon, I'm going in. The mullet has reached just proportions that I can't sustain.
Right.
It really spiraled faster than I thought it was going to. And so I made an appointment. I don't know if I'm going to completely get rid of the mullet or not. I think I'm about 60% getting a normal haircut.
Okay.
And 40% keeping some form of a mini mullet around.
I'm going to send you a reel from Lisa Rosen TV. Okay. Where she talks about like the hot dude haircut of summer 2024.
Okay.
And it's basically just photos of like Alordi and Mezcal
that works for me.
With their little soft fringe in the back. Thank you, Randy.
Hit that. Bumping that.
Because I'm gonna try to convince you to keep just like a little something. Just a little tussle at the end.
I will admit, I like having it. Yeah. Like I like it. Like so. For me, like I've never gone full 90s rom-com hair before, but it's always been a territory that I'd like to enter at some point and just see what I can do.
What does that mean? What's 90s
I'm just thinking of very coiffed Hugh Grant. Okay. It's heavy hair on the top, but it's not as buzzed down as you're seeing these days.
I
it's
thought you
still
meant
a little
you were
longer.
Get like a perm and like cut in some male pattern baldness to look like Billy Crystal.
No, Billy Crystal. We only copy his fits from that, not his actual haircut.
Yeah, that's probably smart.
I did think that there was I'm never going to say that couples need to match each other's hotness, but I always did think there was quite a discrepancy in that movie between the two. But I think that was the point of the movie, the juxtaposition of the two.
It's the juxtaposition, yeah.
The brash, the brash talking Billy and
yeah. Can I give you another update?
You can.
This is probably the biggest thing I got going for me. Last 7 days or so. My global entry renewal came through.
That's big. Did you get any help?
I did not. But thank you to our listener that reached out and offered the help. I was about to hit her up and try to call in a favor from Big Gov herself.
Yep.
When
you roll with the retail boys, you got a direct line to the government.
Right to the government. Yeah, I was just going to dial up big government and say, "Yo, I got to get this. I got to get this pushed through."
Yeah.
And then some last minute appointments opened up at Austin Bergstrom this past weekend, and we got Laura in there for her interview, and she is approved and good to go as well. So we're cruising, baby.
Oh wow! Okay,
we're cruising.
Okay, we're in a good place.
We're in a great place. Add to that a little bit less of a great place, but still great. It's great and it's not great. But I went out to the Dave. He wouldn't let me borrow his away suitcase. He was real stingy about it.
Messed up.
And so I went out to the Away store at the Domain and got absolutely raked over the coals.
What does an Away cost these days? As someone who needs to buy a new suitcase,
it's a pretty penny.
Okay,
it's not. We're not talking Remova here, but here's the thing: they've got Away they're kind of nickel and diming you these days. Away is a little bit.
Got to pay extra for a lock or something.
No, but they've got their big carry-on now.
Yeah.
You can get a version of it that's expandable.
Okay.
Which Of course, speaking to overpackers like myself, I want the little 1-inch expansion.
You don't need the expansion.
I had to get it though. $50 extra.
No, you don't need the expansion. Just put on, just Joey Tribbiani it into the airport instead of getting the extension. Just toss on a couple layers.
So, but what if I need it? What if I need the extension? So that's an extra $50. So the suitcase came out to $345.
Okay,
but I will say I gotta shout out Sally's brand Bayes here because the Bayes comes with that There's no option. It is expandable, and it's at a nice little P point of $283. So it's a better deal.
It's a great suitcase. It's a great suitcase.
The thing is the Bayes. Am I saying it right? Is it Base or Bayes?
She's just been calling it Bayes.
Bayes. Yeah. Okay.
That's how we've referred to it when it's. Can I pack in the Bayes?
In the Bayes?
Hey, can I pack in the Bayes? Are you packing in the Bayes or can I pack in the Bayes?
Okay.
That's how it goes down.
So look, I feel like it's pretty obvious. They're kind of designed for women, I feel like.
Yeah, the color palette is not exactly masculine.
Yes, exactly. And even the black is like still kind of looks a little like there's just something a bit feminine about it.
Yeah, so we have the what's the second color there? The kind of lipstick one. We have this one, and I have to say that, like, I kind of feel like when I'm walking through the airport and I have my wedding ring on, that people are like, yeah, he's probably using his wife's suitcase right now.
It's ribbed for her pleasure.
Oh, Randy. Okay, vacation Japan. Randy is just ready to get out of this office.
So we were doing some last minute shopping this past weekend, and Nordstrom has some bays on, like, in store on display. They had popped out.
Did you bring all your stuff that you're packing to Spain and try to put it in there and see how it worked?
No, but that would be a funny bit. They popped out one of these, like, pink glossy numbers, and they were like, these are selling out immediately every time we put these out. I just put this one out. It's the last one. That one, Laura said that one was too girly.
It's pretty girly.
Certainly for me, she didn't want to be splashing around in this pink number either.
It's kind of ballerina core.
And the other colors that they had were like a tan, which was a little blah, and a gray, which I kind of felt the same way about. So one thing led to another. We didn't get her the base. I went and got a new away, and it's a nice suitcase too. It's really nice.
Yep,
they're doing a good job.
Yep,
there's a reason why they can charge what they do. But if you don't want to go all the way for the away price, oh shit, not $283, $238.
Yeah,
it's $100.
Pretty good. Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
They're nice too. I do think that there's a little more room in the away. I think that there's I think there's some features on this one that might take up a little space. But for doing a long weekend, it's a great suitcase. Things change if you're trying to do a longer time than like 3 or 4 nights. But yeah.
Well, so if they had some of these, like maybe like the solid green or something like that, I definitely think
pretty good.
I could have been swayed, but yeah, there you go.
Well, probably now is a good time to make an announcement that we kind of forgot to make at the top of the episode.
We did.
But that is that we are all leaving town. Right. It is
Whole
retail
squad.
therapy, summer vacation. We are all going to different destinations. I will be in Italy. Barrett will be in Spain, and Randy will be in Japan. We're really covering a lot of territory here. And so that means that this will be the last episode you hear until after Labor Day.
That's right.
Yes. So our next episode will be the Sunday after Labor Day. We will be... is there a small chance that the Sunday Scaries in me really tries to come out and do the Labor Day episode? Traditionally one of my favorite episodes, because it's one of the toughest Mondays you're ever going to have. I hate Monday or Labor Day.
Do you mean the Tuesday? The Tuesday after Labor Day?
I mean the Monday after, or like actual Labor Day. So sorry. I always think of Labor Day as being like Sunday just because you get the extra day off.
Right.
But Labor Day is always a tough day because I always feel like I always go pretty hard on Labor Day.
Okay, I see.
It's like, well, it's beautiful out, end of summer, time to send this summer off with a bang. Don't really feel the pressure to do that in Texas. But either way, we'll be back after Labor Day.
We will. Yeah.
We'll hear from our friends over at Shopify real quick. When we started podcasting, an online store was the furthest thing from our minds. And now, guess what? If you bought a retail therapy hat, you bought it through a Shopify site. Right now, I'm getting the Wash Media site all set up to do some nice little sales from our new shop. I'm very excited to do that. I've actually dipped in this morning and started going through a bunch of the templates to see which one I'm rolling with for the new one.
Okay.
But if you're not familiar with Shopify, it's the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business, from the launch your online shop stage to the first real life store stage, all the way to the we just hit 1 million orders stage. Shopify's there to help you grow. You can really do anything with Shopify. Right now, we're collecting emails so that when our store is ready, we can send it out to our mailing list for anyone that's going to the site. But really, we just use Shopify because it helps you turn browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout. It's around 36% better on average compared to the other leading commerce platforms. It's just so easy. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the US. And Shopify is the global force behind Allbirds, Rothy's, and Brooklinen, and millions of other entrepreneurs of every size across 175 countries. Plus, they got award-winning help. I've used it before. Very quick, very simple, very efficient. They've changed things for me. They've removed things from my account. It's like the easiest thing in the world, because businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial at shopify.com/scaries. All lowercase. Go to shopify.com/scaries now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/scaries. Shall we do some more listener questions that we didn't get to last week?
Yes, a little evergreen content here. Not that evergreen, but sort of semi-green.
We just got so many that doing one was not going to work. And so splitting them up and taking the ones that might have taken a little more thought, it just kind of made sense.
Yeah.
Is there anywhere you want to begin?
Let's just jump right into to clothing and style. We have several questions kind of revolving around that topic. The first one is kind of open-ended, kind of vague, but let's toss it out here. It's from I'm a Better Window. Do you think about differentiating your style choices while following trends?
Does this mean, is this asking like, how much do we think about trends when making our style choices?
Maybe, or like, here, I'll start because it's kind of open to interpretation almost. And as somebody that definitely follows trends, I like the short answer to this question is like, yes, I do. Because I never want to be guilty of just like piling on everything that is trendy. Mm-hmm. At the ripe old age of 37, like I'm a little bit slower to jump on these days. Oh, like last summer, I sat here and said, are we really going to do fisherman sandals? And now this summer, I'm like, I fucking love fisherman sandals.
I was going to say, I kind of wish you had them on right now.
So sometimes it takes a little bit longer for them to kind of to trickle down until I'm like feeling like they're a little bit approachable.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I still enjoy trying new things. I still enjoy branching out. I still enjoy like getting into those spots that are like, oh, okay, like how am I going to style this? But absolutely, I'm always trying to imbue my own personal, like the things that I like and feel good in with some things that are a little bit maybe on the trendier side.
Yeah, I think when it comes to like fit, it's like, is there a different word for trend when it comes to like how things are fitting people? Like I know like
cut.
Yeah. Like I almost feel like
I
try to pay more attention to silhouette than I do the actual trends that are happening. Like I don't deviate much when it comes to color. I like things to be pretty basic.
You're paying attention to the macro trends, not the micro.
Yes. And right. I try to follow that pretty generally, or not even try, but I enjoy to just because I like looking current or trying to feel like I'm looking current. But I try not to really follow any trends that are just like coming out of nowhere, and then suddenly I need to spend $200 in order to make it work. Like I've been trying to avoid that.
Yeah.
Like I think Abercrombie's doing a great job with following trends and being right on top of things and ahead of things that I'm like, oh yeah, this is great. But there's a lot of stuff I wouldn't buy on there just because it's so on trend that it's going to be like, well, it's obvious that this 37-year-old dad is wearing camo pants right now because like from Abercrombie, just because he saw them on there on the front row, on the first row of the site.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I do like following trends from a social perspective. I don't think I dress by them as much as I could. I also think that like the people that I follow and try to get like fashion inspiration from aren't following trends. If they're following trends, they're following trends within their own kind of like atmosphere.
Yeah, within their own world.
Yeah,
right.
They're not following like what Cosmo is saying is in. They're not going to data but make it fat. Like they're just more just seeing like, oh, like I like this and this is from this company that's popular.
Yeah. I mean, this also like very much depends on where you are. I saw somebody post on the Throwing Fits Reddit the other day, which has become Kind of funnily enough, I think 75% of the people that are posting on that Reddit now don't realize that it's a podcast.
Yeah.
It's just kind of taken over as like the new menswear subreddit.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Which is interesting little
And
phenomenon.
I think the menswear subreddit is hurting from it.
Yes, it is.
Like I went to go look something up one time, like some in the last couple of months, and I couldn't believe how few posts there were.
Yeah. And so this guy like posted his fit, which was a very trendy fit. It was like this big oversized striped button down and like a vintage hat and like giant shorts, white socks, black loafers. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like if he wore that in Austin, that would be a fit. If he wears that in Soho or Times Square, like he's going to look like every other jabroni on the block, right? So that's also part of it, is like kind of like knowing your surroundings and kind of you get more leeway in less fashionable places because there's less of a you run way less risk of looking like a bunch of other dudes trying to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
So that's also part of it. If you're in one of those places that is super fashion forward, then I think this is an even more important thing to like kind of cherry pick what you like while maintaining your own kind of steez. But
I think I follow like trendy. I almost follow the trendy brands more than I follow the trendiest piece from the trendy brands. Like, it tells me a lot that anytime, Randy, get ready. Anytime I go to Aimé Leon Dore, most of the things I want have not sold out, which tells me that I'm not buying the trendy stuff. And like, but I'm also not shopping for the trendy stuff. I'm looking for like a linen shirt that's maybe a little more dressed down. That's more vacation-y than New York fashion forward kind of thing, And so it's just one of those things where like I feel like I enjoy finding brands that I like and then kind of honing in on individual pieces more than I like trying to follow a trend and figure out what the best version of me in that trend is.
Yeah. Well, this is going to segue really nicely into these next two questions. SWolf79 asks, tips on threading the needle between fashion forward, not trying too hard, and being a dad. And then Samuelson says, hi, Retail Therapy team. I'm 32, dad of 2 young kids. Looking to build a versatile and timeless wardrobe, what are the essential capsule pieces you recommend for someone in my age group and phase of life? I live in the Midwest, so seasonal items are appreciated. Thank you. Sam Olson, I'm just going to first, Will and I have intentions to, there's another question that we're going to make a Substack column that are basically like, what are the 3 to 5 staples that every man should own? So we'll answer some of your question in more detail on a hopefully soon to be written column. But I think this is a question that a lot of guys have, which is whether they're a dad or not, they're in their 30s, maybe they're pushing up on 40. And then obviously having kids changes things as well because your lifestyle is totally different. But yeah, how do you maintain some of that? How do you maintain your fashion life and reconcile that with being a dad, basically?
I've talked about it before. Like I have different mindsets in different scenarios. I definitely have I'm going out to dinner with my kids. I'm wearing this because I know there's going to be cheese and queso all over it once we're done with this meal. So like I will just dress total dad and just go that route. But when I'm actually trying to dress nicely, I think one of the biggest things for me was realizing that because I have 2 kids, I am never going to go out at the clip that I was going to go out before. So I can buy some nicer shirts that I'm going to wear sparingly throughout the year because I'm just not wearing them all that much anymore. So it's like, yeah, I can buy a nicer linen shirt that I'm like psyched on that might be more on trend than just going to like the Gap or something. And I can wear that every once in a while and feel pretty good about it and always look forward to wearing it because it might be, 3 or 4 or 5 weeks between wearing it. But like, I also just think that if you're a dad, you don't need to follow like the most hardcore of trends. You don't need to wear like giant shorts. You're kind of going to look like you're trying to dress like your kid's going to dress in a few years, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so like, I think just having classic dad style is just not a bad thing. Like, I think there's a way to do it. Like, I don't know why I always envision it this way, but I always picture like a dad in like Northern California, just dressed very like chic with like thick fabrics, just kind of layered up, I don't even know how to describe it. It's not like English countryside gear, but it's just like minimalistic, nice silhouettes on I don't even know. It's hard. Dad fashion and balancing the two is very difficult.
So, okay, a few things here. One of the most important things, and this is going to sound vain and superficial, but I'm just thinking of my life going forward. I hope to be a dad relatively soon. It's like a huge thing for me. And as I think about guys that are older or dads getting dressed is just to try to stay in as best shape as I possibly can.
Yeah.
Because that is when you start looking your most daddish and your most old is when you let it go, basically.
It's very easy to let things go when you're a dad. Like I have found that, my if you saw the roster of my dinners from the last month, you'd be appalled by the way that I'm eating. Like you have these parts of your life that just fall by the wayside and you just deal with that. And you either, stew over it for a long time and get upset over it, or you just get rid of it. And like, yeah, it's very easy to put on a lot of weight after you have a kid and you don't fit in your clothes anymore because you're sitting around the house. You're not going anywhere. You're eating unhealthily. You're eating a bunch of meal train food that's like, made in mass that you're just sitting around pounding.
Buttery casseroles and
like it's just, and so like, yeah, honestly, just fitting into the old stuff that I've spent good money on, just being able to do that is a win for me. I always tell Sally that I don't care what shape I'm in as long as I can fit in the clothes that I've spent money on, because I don't want to not be able to wear something because I'm not in the shape that I was in when I bought it. And I'm wearing them now. I wore the Tom Sachs Nikes, my white ones, while I was with a bunch of dads over the weekend. Every single dad complimented them. And I was like, okay, this is like the staple for cool dads. Like all the dads were like, oh yeah, I've wanted those. And I'm like, yeah, that might just be the cool dad sneaker that fits in wherever you are. You're going to get respect from like the fashion kids that know what's going on, and you're going to get respect from the other dads.
Yeah. And just like knowing about them is kind of half the battle a little bit. Just staying a little bit in tune. And then, this is just to relate this to Howler Brothers a little bit. Like Western is still having this huge moment, right? Mm-hmm. And we do a lot of Western. And so there's this kind of like question of internally about like, okay, do we lean into Western right now because it's kind of happening and it's part of our brand DNA? Or do we just kind of like stay on the straight and narrow and only include as much as we ever have for it? And like, and for me, I'm very much in favor of like, when the zeitgeist comes up and touches whatever wavelength you're riding, you should reach down and grab onto that, basically. Yeah. And so for dad stuff right now, because this kind of like, y'all know I don't really love this terminology to describe it, but because this kind of like old money style is having like a bit of a resurgence and with shorter shorts and linen shirts and loafers or fisherman sandals or whatever it might be, like it's very Ralph Lauren, but it's also very Greek Islands, right? Like that whole thing. Yeah. That's so wearable for every age. Yeah. That it's like when those little moments happen, it's like no matter what age you are, like reach down and grab those, because that will make you look in the know and fashionable, but also age appropriate.
My dad always had a preppy style growing up. He always tucked in a button down or a polo shirt into a pair of slacks. He wore boat shoes no matter the day. Like, I mean, it was like boat shoes or loafers no matter what. If there was 4 feet of snow on the ground, he'd be out shoveling in penny loafers. Like that, he was just always kind of more preppy and stuff. And now that I'm a dad, and now that like the whole like 90s old money kind of thing is kind of bubbling up and has been, like now I just kind of look back and I'm like, oh, I think I'm kind of just skewing towards dressing like my dad. Like I think I'm just trying to look like, I don't know, a guy who's going to his office on the weekend and doesn't feel the need to dress up for the weekend, but has a good job, so he needs to dress up somewhat. Yeah, I don't know, just towing that line. It's been interesting. I also find myself buying, like I talked about the staple items earlier, or like kind of maybe the less desirable items from like Aimé Leon Dore. But like when I wear my black cashmere sweater from ALD, I think to myself, like there is part of me that's like, oh, I'm wearing a current brand and I'm wearing a classic piece. Like I get to do both with this. Like no one knows that it's an Aimé Leon Dore sweater. No one knows that it's trendy, but I think there's something to me that's like, okay, I'm not a loser.
No one knows my sweater is Aimé Leon Dore.
No one knows. No one knows.
You're the meme standing in the corner. At the party.
Yeah. No, you're the guy.
That's my verbal impression of that meme, right?
You're the Trump guy on the airplane, looking at everybody like, you noticing my Aimé Leon Dore sweater right now? Are you noticing this sweater? You noticing?
A couple more tips that come to mind here. Just Google like Ralph Lauren style, like, and not just Ralph Lauren the brand, but him, the human, specifically this human, because he has looked amazing every single day of his life. And like
honestly, for our man Sam over here in the Midwest, a great vest is going to take you a long way in the winter months. Like I love a vest. I think that vests are a lot more popular in like the Midwest and northern states than they are in Texas. And like, but I truly think that having a good vest in the wintertime that you can just like hang your hat on. I know like Filson has cool ones. If you have a Patagonia one, like you're probably just going to look like a bunch of other dads in the Midwest, which is how I dressed when I kind of dressed like a Midwest dad when I was living in Michigan. But like the vest that I've been wearing a lot of lately is QU. It's a hunting brand that looks very aggressive, but they have like good colors. Their color palette for dudes is very like green, clay, asphalt. Mm-hmm. Like, like it can kind of just fit in that way. And I don't know. There's so many ways to tackle like age appropriate versus dad versus trendy versus classic. And it's difficult to figure out where I even fall.
The real core elements for me boil down to like clothes to fit, looking your best personally. And I mean that like both like grooming, physical and hygiene, just like all of that. Just staying in touch with that, and then just staying in the know about what looks good and about what's good and what's not. But just kind of knowing that you can just pretty much drop all the stuff happening in like young men's streetwear and sneakers and like all that type of stuff that you can just kind of let go of a little bit and spend more time enjoying your life and your kids.
I think I need to sit down. I need to sit down and just list out a bunch of brands that like will be not what you get in, big box stores, but brands that might separate you out from the other dads. Like, I think the ultimate dad thing is when another dad will ask like, "Oh, where'd you get that jacket?" And it's like, "Yeah, okay. I feel cool right now in front of the other dads. I got this jacket from Taylor Stitch." Like.
So I on last week's podcast I mentioned that I took my buddy shopping. He's also a dad of 2 young kids, and we I don't think I mentioned that where we ended up like picking up stuff was Nordstrom from a few different brands, and then I turned him on to some of the linen shirts that I really like at Gap. But just thinking about that trip, like knit polos come to mind as well.
Yep, dads can easily do knit polos,
and those are popping up everywhere right now. I saw them.
That's like I think that's one of the easiest ways to be fashion forward right now without doing much else.
Yes, and it's this is a piece that's age appropriate. It's also very transitional. I saw them in Madewell. I saw them in J. Crew. They're in Buck Mason. They're all over the place. They look good. They look professional. They tap into some of this kind of this old money thing. And I will mention, Laura doesn't like generally mention stuff like, "Oh, what about one of these? Do you have one of these?" And she's been doing that with the knit polos. And I'm like, okay, I think she wants me to wear a knit polo.
Yeah.
Yep. She watched Chris Evans in Red Man with Ryan Gosling and saw him in that knit polo.
So she might refute that. I don't know, but it's like an item that she knows is happening and has asked me if I have one, and like, "You got one of those to bring on the vacation?" And I'm like, all right,
I have one. I don't know if it's going to make it.
But like the sweater material, we're talking about transitional pieces. It's like, it's breathable enough for late summer, but heavy enough to kind of like go under a jacket for early fall. So
I don't even care about wearing the thicker stuff in the hot heat at this point. I'm going to sweat either way.
Just sweat.
And I might as well just feel good. And when you're in the AC, honestly, having that extra material feels pretty nice.
But pay attention. I think we've got some more fall fashion stuff looking ahead just a bit before a full-on fall episode. So for Sam, also pay attention to we'll talk a little bit about some jackets. So when we get there, those could also be good kind of transitional pieces.
That was the biggest thing I was going to say, because in the Midwest, like, you're wearing a coat or jacket for like 8 months out of the year. Like, if you're going to invest in something, like, do that, because you're going to wear it like every day.
This is the vest that I've been wearing. I completely swagger jacked my buddy who probably actually uses it to hunt. And but like the colors that they have for it, like, I like wearing a lot of green and earth tones anyway, but like, you can pair it with anything. And in the Midwest, like, it's fun. It's nice to have something in the Midwest that not everyone else is wearing. Like, there's so much outdoor gear that gets worn in like everywhere, that if you have something that's just not what everyone else has, you kind of just feel cooler.
Yeah. And this is a nice, I've seen you wear this before, and it's nice because it's kind of like an in-between, like, it's not full on James Bond and Skyfall English countryside cosplay, but it's also not like your run-of-the-mill Patagonia puffer.
Well, yeah.
So it's kind of fits in that in between where like it'll look good under a Barber wax jacket, but also you can pop this over like your Aloe t-shirt.
Yeah, yeah. And like I don't think anything badly of anyone that wears Patagonia. I wear a lot of Patagonia. I love Patagonia. I love everything about that company. But like, I buy that for staple things that I know I'm going to use it for. Like, I'm going to buy that for my ski jacket, and I'm going to wear that every single time I go skiing because I know it's going to be the best quality thing that I can get. But it's nice to have something a little different than just that. But even like, I feel like people who want to dress like rich dad are going to wear like Montclair vests or something. And I feel like that vibe just puts out like, I'm trying to look rich right now. And just having something different that's not necessarily more expensive is also a nice dad flex. Because when you're a dad, you don't want to spend money on expensive clothes that are going to get ruined.
And you're a Midwesterner, you want to tell everyone about the bargain you got.
Yeah, exactly. I was feeding my my youngest the other day before work, and I thought to myself, why'd you put on these pants before you fed your kid? He's going to spit up all over these things. But I did, and I kept feeding him. And sure enough, he spit up all over them. And I was like, yeah, don't wear your nicest pants. Like, not my nicest, but like, don't wear them while you're doing this. And it's things like that actually make me dress much worse because I'm like, well, nope, I'm going to go toss on some crappy t-shirt to go out and do this.
I mean, when I get home from like from having real clothes on, whether it's for dinner or like whatever, like I immediately go change just to deal with the dogs.
Yeah.
Because they will immediately do this, do the same type of stuff, jump up on you with dirty paws, like slobber all over your nice pants, like whatever it might be. Like, so that's just that's a piece of maintaining your good stuff.
Yeah, don't wear any Drakes while you're feeding your kid.
Yeah,
that's my best dad tip.
Couple of watch questions, Will.
Ooh, okay.
Connor asks, any watch recommendations for someone just starting their career? And then I'm a Better Window also says, thoughts on luxury watches, been debating a Cartier.
Watches are somewhat of a blind spot for me in terms of like the actual watches in front of you and popular watch brands, qualities, prices, stuff like that. But if you're just starting your career, we're going to assume that you're between 23 and 26. Maybe took a gap. Maybe took a year for yourself. Who knows? Maybe you just were out there traveling. Maybe you went to Japan, Italy, Spain. Saw the world. Like, you don't want to have something crazy expensive. If you can afford it, I guess it doesn't matter because you're like probably like if you can already afford it at that age, then you can get whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously depends on what your career is as well, but it's kind of a rule of thumb that if like you're in your 20s, you never want to show up to any job with like a watch that costs thousands of dollars.
I wouldn't even, and like even like a work event, I'd be like hesitant, like, am I gonna look like an asshole if I'm 26 wearing a nicer watch than like not just my superior, but like the other two superiors on top of me?
And that's the big one. That's like the old rule. That's like the old school thing. Is like never wear a watch that's like nicer than your boss's. You know?
Yeah.
And that's these days that feels very specific to like big law or accounting.
Yeah, that doesn't apply to my life
or iBanking or whatever it might be. So yeah, I've got. Well, one, I'll just answer the Cartier question first because we've also become
by the Cartier
very interested in Cartiers and love the little leather strap tanks. I think their metal bracelet watches are also gorgeous. They seem accessible. You don't have to get on like some huge waiting list and like hope that an AD calls you in 12 months. So that's cool. So
you can buy online.
We stand Cartier watches for sure.
I also think that if you're trying to get a very high end watch, I think Cartier is obviously a much more digestible entry price compared to, the other brands that you're obviously going to look at like Rolex and Tag and stuff. Like you can really get in at a good price point for a Cartier. And I think most people would think it costs more than it actually does. But they're still very expensive.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to spend Rolex money, Cartier is a great place to turn.
On the lower end, I literally just discovered these yesterday because Canoe Club just released these. I'm not positive how to pronounce this brand. I'm going to go with Kuo.
Okay.
Kuoe. But if you opt for one of theirs with an automatic movement, you're still under $600 for either a metal bracelet or a leather strap. And then honestly, the ones that I really, really like are these ones that have a quartz movement, obviously a lot less expensive, but like, I think this black leather strap with black dial and gold bezel is a really, really sharp watch. It fits into kind of the trend right now of smaller faces and lower profile stuff. I think this is 35 millimeters. And this watch is...
Which I think 35 is I think it's great for right now.
$275. So like this feels great. Yeah, there are definitely guys that know a lot more about watches than we do and probably have more of a breadth of knowledge about brands that kind of fit into this bracket. But like I'm very strongly considering one of these to get something that is a little bit more kind of, fits in with the current trend of watches right now. But when I don't want to spend thousands of dollars on one.
They're like one of the most popular watches I see right now is the Cartier Crash watch on people's mood boards and stuff like that. And there's been a lot of companies that have popped up recently who have just made $100 versions of the Cartier Crash watch.
Okay.
I don't think this guy should necessarily do that, but I think it's much more, it's much more feminine to have the Crash watch to me than masculine. But like if I'm in my early 20s or mid 20s and I want that vibe, I would have no hesitation to go buy $100 version of like the Cartier Crash and just wear it like I'd wear $100 bracelet. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't think anyone's going to judge you if you're in your 20s wearing like a clear fake of like another watch or something. But I also think they're so cool. I think they're cool looking one. I think they're so popular right now that like you can almost get away with wearing a visible rep of it because it's like people might just be like, oh yeah, why would you? I'm glad you didn't spend $10,000 on that, or not even 10,000. Like those things go for like the Cartier ones were crazy expensive, but like I would never blame someone early in their career for wearing a cheap, like an inexpensive watch. I'd be like, oh, that's very smart of them. Good job.
Yeah,
good work.
Timex makes a bunch of really nice looking watches that are all under $300. You know.
Shinola.
Shinola is great. There's a watch by Shinola called the Mechanic, which is a little bit fatter than I think I want right now, but I think it's really, really a great looking watch.
Shinola has so many different styles of watches that as long as you're okay with, rocking the brand, that you can find pretty much anything in your wheelhouse that you need.
Yeah. And then just ticking up slightly higher, but still typically under four figures. I really, really like the look of Hamilton watches. I want to say that Hamilton is what big Governor Walls was wearing.
Oh, was he
on some recent campaign trails?
But that's about 400.
The price of the Hamiltons,
yeah,
like anywhere between like 400 and 900, basically, depending on which model you opt for. But they have everything from like field watches on webbing straps to like full on automatics on a metal bracelet. So. Mm-hmm. There's a big range, but I always think they look really nice, and they're like they don't look like dupes. They just look like they're doing their own thing, but they're really sharp. They're really pretty.
Yeah. I'm looking now. Yeah, I mean, I had some time to kill this last weekend, and I went into a jewelry store that had secondhand Rolexes, and I think the person working could tell that I didn't really have any desire to look at anything other than like watches because it was mostly women's jewelry. And when I asked her for the prices of all the Rolexes, I was like, oh, well, those are still quite high. Like it's mind boggling to me how expensive they've gotten and how expensive they are. I'm also just wildly jealous of everyone I see with one on their wrist.
And they've kind of come down in price too.
I know. Yeah, they have.
Yeah.
I was actually, I kind of knew she showed me one of the Pepsi ones. Mm-hmm. And I kind of knew that it was going to be in the 20s. And when she said 24, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Wow. Was this at your usual spot?
What? No, I was just in a random store.
Okay.
And I looked at this. I looked at her after she said 24, and I didn't want to I knew what she was going to say pretty much, but it still is kind of jarring to have someone in front of you tell you that something costs $24,000 that's in your hands. And I just did my best to not have a big gulp after or anything like that. I was just like, yep.
That sounds like a resale price for that.
Makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
It was one of the nicest and well taken care of used Rolexes I'd ever seen in my entire life.
Okay, so it was pre-owned.
Pre-owned, yeah. Huh. I thought it was brand new, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're also in Las Vegas. They're probably.
You got the roll. That's okay.
You
should have led with that.
Yeah, you're probably expecting. Yeah, like they're probably expecting some hammered dude to come off the tables and be like, "Give me that."
100%.
Taking that.
Yes, they are.
It's a good move for him, honestly. It's a good move. I don't have much more on watches right now. I do think
me either.
I do think Shinola is a great starter watch because it's a popular brand. You won't break the bank for like some of the watches that they have, and it's like they're nice quality. You can hand it down to someone eventually.
For sure.
Let's hear from our friends over at BetterHelp. Today's show is sponsored by BetterHelp. I've used this phrase a lot in the Sunday Scaries universe, but comparison is a thief of joy. It's a very popular saying. It's a saying that I think about probably way too much, but it's a good thing to think about because it's just easy to envy other people's lives. It might look like they don't, or like they have it all together on Instagram, but in reality, they probably don't. Therapy can help you focus on what you want instead of what others have so that you can start living your best life. I actually think that this exact reason is one of the major reasons that I started doing therapy in the first place. I was looking at all my friends that were like going out every weekend in big cities and enjoying themselves while I lived in my kind of small hometown. And I think I had a bit of a complex about it. And I will wholeheartedly say therapy helped me through that kind of thing. And it's helped me through so much more, from work to personal life to anything. And if you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. All you have to do is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Stop comparing, start focusing with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/scaries today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/scaries. Is there a vibe shift to fall imminent?
I think there is. It is imminent. And I know we're not even halfway through August recording this, but by the time we get back, it's going to be September, which everybody knows is the beginning of fall.
It's going to be breezy in other parts of the country, not down here. But
not down here, but it'll be, yeah.
Mentally, I switch in September.
Yeah.
In September, right. I don't care how hot it is outside. I'm going to start busting out the fall stuff no matter what.
Yeah. So from Jamie McCowan, he says, I feel like I can't wear Rishis anymore. That's what people have nicknamed Sambas after what's the British PM?
Ex-British PM.
Yeah.
Rishi Sunak.
Yeah, wore a pair. So he's asking for suggestions for fall trainers. I'm gonna blow through these because I don't want to just do a listicle on the pod at the moment. But I'm gonna talk about some decent options here.
Can we briefly talk about the nightmare scenario of you trying to take a fashion liberty by wearing some Sambas? And not only do you kill the trend, but then they rename them after you to make sure that everyone knows how swagless they are. Like, what if everybody was sitting there just like, no, I can't wear the Barretts anymore. Are you kidding me? He ruined them.
Yeah, it's a tough look. That would be.
That's something a high school friend group does to like a kid who wore like some fashion forward sneakers for the first time, and they just roast him for like the next 2 months.
Yeah,
I probably did that.
Yeah. One of the most obvious one-to-ones in just doing like an elevated version of a Samba is a pair from Collegium. I believe these are called the Pillar Court 2s. They come in a bunch of different colorways. Now, you're obviously going to be paying more. These are on Essence for $255, but less than the Jown Sambas on resale, basically.
Okay.
Collegium, I think they make a great product. Everybody has good things to say about quality. They spend a lot of time in development. They source good materials. They lean a little bit into that represent territory where a lot of what they do, it's like it's really hard not to call a knockoff of like other silhouettes that are super popular.
A lot of these style sneakers look the exact same though. It's hard.
Well, and they're even worse about like regular shoes. Like they like just have a complete rip of a pair of boot Michael, which is like, okay, fine, it's whatever. But these are different enough for me. And everybody that I know that has a pair has really good things to say about them. So if you simply want the look of a Samba, but you don't want to wear the Adidas Samba, this is an easy swap out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Converse. Okay. This is just a classic, a Converse 1-star. Kind of has a similar like stripe pattern as an Adidas Sambas. You get some of that kind of sporty detail. They come in again, tons of colors, cool nubby suede, great for fall, just nice low top, goes with everything.
Mm-hmm.
Can't believe I like this little collab, but I do. It's the Reebok.
It's good.
It's the Reebok times Reebok X Recess Club C. This is your Reebok Club C made for straight pickleballing.
Yeah, that is very pickleball. They're nice though,
but I like it.
They're nice.
It's a really good colorway of these.
I have some Club C's and I don't love them. I don't love the fit of them.
Okay,
but I do still like the look. Like, and I'm not saying that it's a terrible fit or anything. As far as I'm concerned, everyone's feet are different and whatever. But I want to wear my Club C's more than I do simply because they're not uncomfortable.
Yeah,
the fit of them just does not jive with me.
But you get a suede toe box similar to a Samba.
Those are nice.
And then I'm also going to link to a pair that's at Tilly's. That's like a nice green and yellow, which is a color combo I'm seeing pop up more and more, but feels great for fall.
Little British racing inspiration for the fall.
Let's talk about Adidas. Why not just opt for something else from Adidas? The ones that I keep seeing on Instagram and on the streets, I saw them out this weekend on a few people, are the SL72.
What's up with people trying to swerve the Samba trend by going gazelle and acting like they're not like the exact same thing? I'm like, you're not doing anything special here.
But you get to say to yourself, well, Rishi didn't wear these.
Yeah, just know that if you're out there trying to pull this little smoke and mirrors, we see right through it. You're still wearing the same sneaker at its heart.
This one is a little bit more of like this like vintage runner look.
It's nice though.
And
I had a pair of Velcro ones like these in high school.
If you're a female and you're paying attention to Instagram trends, then you've definitely seen this other vintage runner, which is the Onitsuka Tiger Mexico 66. This is one of like the hot kind of it girl sneakers at the moment.
Does that get the track part of you going, Randy?
I used to have. I've had a couple pairs of these in the past.
It looks a lot like the Loewe runner that you'll see on a lot of the celebs and influencers. For guys, I prefer the Tokuten.
Yeah. I like that. I love a gum sole though.
A little sturdier looking. As far as Adidas, I've also preached about how much I like the Gazelle Indoor. They are now fully stocked. There's like 15 different colors of them. So check out the Gazelle Indoor. Again, like you're saying, it's kind of a cheat code. Mm-hmm. But if you just can't wear the Samba, those are out there. And I actually like the toe box better.
So what's the price on the Jambas doing now?
I don't know.
Because if Sambas are going to start going down in popularity and the tank for the price for these is going to tank, like I have no issue getting some Jambas, dude.
Yeah. Last thing I'll say, this is what I put my buddy in a couple weekends ago is a Nike Kill Shot, the new one, the 2. They're back, baby. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He put them on. They looked great. I was thoroughly impressed with this new model. It's just a cleaned up silhouette. Looks really good on foot. I'm sounding like a broken record at this point, but bunch of color options too. But that's nice when you're looking for a sneaker in that $100 price point and range, and maybe you want something a little more fall, or maybe you want something super wearable. It's nice when you get something that has 15 color options.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. The kill shots are classic right now. Like
now's the time to hop on a kill shot too, because they're not chuggy. Like investment banker, wear them with your, with your Midtown uniform or whatever.
Yeah, with your Lulu all day pants.
Yeah, your ABCs,
your anti ball crushers. I need to get rid of mine. I've still got too many ABC pants in my closet. I'm holding on to them because I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes I like it. Sometimes I like having the moisture wicking.
Sometimes you don't want your balls crushed,
Yeah, sometimes you just don't, There's always the part of me that's like, what if I have to go to like an event at like a country club where I need to wear pants, but I don't need to wear like nice pants. I just dress like I'm about to go on the golf course. Like, can I wear these ABC pants?
A lot of this falls into the same conversation we were having about tailgate wear.
Yeah, you're dressing the part more than dressing what you like.
Yeah, I'm thinking about what I'm going to wear on these long flights, and I'm like, might wear on sneakers and joggers.
Yeah.
I might do it.
Yep.
I might do it.
Oh, yeah. I'm not ashamed to say that I will be packing one single pair of Lululemon joggers that will be worn twice on the trip, on the plane there and on the plane home. It's the move.
That's the move.
If you want to deploy my shorts underneath, international flight's not the worst time to do it.
Okay.
You can do the NBA player tearaway in the aisle.
All right. Well, Perfect Tommy 26 says, what should I be keeping an eye on as we move towards fall?
Where do you even look at this point for this kind of stuff, Barrett?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Despite the fact that it's 105 every single day here for the rest of the month, like you pop into shops or on websites, the fall stuff is coming in.
Oh, yeah.
Fall collections are dropping. The summer stuff is not even really in the stores anymore. So it's out there, Jerry. So we talked about barn coats. I know you're... Let's
talk coats real quick, because you also have coats on here, and I'm going to drop something in. You have like a good, simple silhouettes? Like...
Yeah, so last year, the type of jacket that I was telling you all was like the jacket. I basically described it as a mechanic's jacket. Mm-hmm. It had a collar. It's got a cropped cut. It basically looks like a Dickies Eisenhower jacket or a Carhartt Detroit.
I got one.
And so
Randy got one.
Those style of jackets with the collar and the cropped cut, definitely still what I'm seeing out there. What feels maybe slightly different, like if you're looking for like a little spin on that this year, is what I'm just calling them simple jackets. They're a lot. The cut is the same, but they're not quite as rugged. They don't look quite so workweary. Let me see if I can pull.
I just dropped one in, and there's actually some really good ones from Studio Nicholson.
Yeah.
I got a Studio Nicholson jacket last year, and I think it falls somewhere in the range of what you're talking about. Like, it's a very simple jacket. There's not much to it at all, and I got it right at the end of spring last year, and it's been my number one item that I'm excited to wear going into fall this year.
Okay.
But I would consider it to just be a simple jacket. It's just a canvas jacket. It's got 2 front pockets and some big buttons, and but Studio Nicholson has a ton of just very simple, kind of boxier cut.
Oh yeah,
which I love the boxiness of the jacket because it allows me to put on a down vest underneath it or something a little warmer when I want to look fashion forward but don't want to wear like a winter jacket.
Yeah. This is I pulled up the Our Legacy Slight Coat, which just dropped, and this is a lot like their very famous mini jacket, but in a different kind of material and slightly techier looking. I also have even J. Crew. Now this one is still pretty, fits in with more rugged stuff, but it's just like the details are all gone. It doesn't have like a big heavy wash on it. It's just a little bit less rugged. It's a little more toned down. It's a little bit kind of goes with everything. Kind of dresses up a little bit nicer, a little bit easier maybe. So that's kind of.
It doesn't look like you're appropriating anything.
Correct. Yeah, here's Will's Studio Nicholson. This one leans more into like the short coat type of flavor.
Yeah,
but still very very much the same as does fit into that idea of like simplicity on a lot of these boxy coats, and this is what you're going to see. Whether La Mer, Our Legacy, Studio Nicholson, all these brands that are doing this kind of like this minimalist approach are having the biggest effect on.
Well, it's just nice you can wear it with anything. Like you can wear it with anything because it's so simple and dressed down that it's just nice.
You mentioned barn coats here as well. I posted a little bit on it in our new broadcast channel on Instagram.
Oh yeah, new broadcast channel. I need you to show me how to ignite one of those on Sunday Scaries because I could not figure it out.
Go get in there. I don't know what I'm going to post in there, but I'm just going to maybe just like use it as like a little personal diary. And
can it just be a group text? How does it work?
You can open it up to I think you can open it up to people being able to do more than react or vote.
So right now it's strictly like you or I would post something and people react to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we got that going. I posted. I went into the J. Crew. I tried on the barn coat. It's great. Fits really nicely. I really really like it. If it wasn't, they were running a nice little sale too. And I was super tempted to get it if I didn't have this big trip coming up. I would have. And then the link disappeared on the website and I couldn't send it out. I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to send it out
weird.
On the digest this week. Now it's back. It's back. So here it is.
It's really good.
I'm a big fan. The weight was good. The fit was good. Yeah, so this is definitely on my wish list.
It's probably barn coat's probably the number one thing I'll buy this fall. I don't have a ton that I need to buy because I've had I think I had a pretty fruitful fall in terms of shopping last year and things that I can wear this year. But in terms of things that are actually on my list of things I'd like to buy, barn coat's number one for me. I still regret getting rid of the one that I had. It makes no sense that I did it. And I just want one. And so I'm going that route. It's a void in my closet that I need to find something between Studio Nicholson and a wax jacket. And I think that fits nicely.
That is that's a good description. Mm-hmm. You mentioned brown on our rundown here.
I'm trying to think of the color, like pre-color of the fall odds right now. And I don't know. I feel like brown was getting shoehorned in so much last year that I'm not going to stop seeing it this year. And part of the reason I say that too is because I ended up buying a bunch of brown stuff last year because it was so popular. Not because it was popular. I bought it because it was available.
Yeah.
And I liked it.
I think that brown is is definitely still happening. I was mostly in women's shops this weekend, but like at Cezanne, at Cove, which is a little boutique here on South Congress, I saw racks, even a little bit in Reformation, very much of like these kind of like dark mustardy yellows, kind of orangey ochres, light browns and tans and caramels.
Yeah,
that's what I was seeing, a lot of that. So I think that definitely leans into the dark browns, to the darker browns, especially on the men's side. And I hate to say this, but I am seeing less green. It'll never, that will always remain a tried and true color for us. But
I feel like people are not. I don't think it's like out, but I think people are getting away from it. They're exploring the other kind of like tones in that family.
Yeah, you'll remember friend of the pod John Deleon told us that like green happened for men because it became like a new neutral.
Yeah,
it like basically became the new navy.
Yeah,
and so it only makes sense that after several years of that kind of dark green, like really being like the new men's neutral, that it gets something else kind of taps in for it, and it seems like really cool like browns are what will.
I just dropped some jeans in that I got from Abercrombie, 90s straight jean in dark brown.
Yeah,
and I've worn them a few times. They're very comfortable. They're very nice. But like I got them and thought I'd have a ton to wear them with. And now I've found that I don't have a ton to wear them with. And so I almost need to shop. If I'm going to wear these this fall, which I would like to because they're really comfortable and kind of different than anything else I have, I need to kind of find some stuff to wear around it because the greens don't really, they're a little brighter in person than on the website. And so it doesn't just fall into line with wearing like a bunch of earth tones and stuff. It takes a little more effort to dress up or to dress in brown than I thought.
So sometimes a colored jean can be a little bit difficult.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I think especially for guys, we like visually react in a weird way to like kind of two colors, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if you're wearing like a green top and a brown bottom, that's like two colors. Where if you're like wearing a green top and jeans, we don't think of that as two colors.
Yeah, because they're jeans. Yeah.
Yes. Or and khakis or a navy pant. These are things that like don't register for us as a color.
Well, yeah. No, you're exactly right. Because you can wear a pair of blue jeans with any shirt you want.
Yes.
Like, and this, I can't.
So you need your non-color on top, basically.
Yeah.
Here. So it's got to be like white, tan, khaki.
Exactly. The only shirts I wear it with are these like kind of like stone colored shirts and stuff. And it looks great with those. They look great with those. But I definitely, if I'm going to wear these out and not just to like work or run errands, I need to actually purchase some stuff that goes with brown up top because otherwise I'm just going to be two color guy.
You could do black with these. I love black and brown together.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't, but and sometimes
once it gets colder, I'll definitely wear like a black sweater with it and not care. Black. I haven't been wearing as many black t-shirts lately. I've been much more on the this color, whatever this would be.
Kind of a wash black.
Wet clay.
Yeah. Yeah. But not French Open clay.
Not French Open clay.
Like
No. We're talking on the pottery wheel.
Yeah.
You're putting water all over that thing. It's drenched.
Yeah. We'll obviously have a lot more on fall fashion.
Yes.
Very soon.
If I had to guess how our episodes will go as we return from our summer vacation, I would guess that fall fashion and fall in and outs will be some of the first episodes that we do. And I'm very excited about it.
I can see that happening. Well, yeah, I sure can.
Do we have anything else from the listener questions?
That's it.
Okay.
Thanks for everybody for writing in.
Yes.
Great stuff.
I would like to find a better way to do this in the future, but we don't do listener questions all that often, so I don't know when that will be, but there's got to be a way within Substack or maybe even Instagram and broadcast channel, something like that, of doing it in a way that can kind of offer some more longer form questions.
Yeah.
Before we get to our wish list items or articles of interest even, let's hear from our friends over at Diplomatico. Let's talk about daiquiris for a second. A lot of people are overlooking the daiquiri when they're thinking about the drink of the summer. Me, I was overlooking the daiquiri, and then I made some with Diplomatico. Feels like they got in a bad rap as being too sweet or too fruity or too frozen, but we're here to open minds back up again. There's only 3 ingredients. It's real easy. Rum, lime juice, simple syrup. It's so easy. It's a classic cocktail that should be getting more play this summer. Go try Diplomatico. It's a great rum. I've been making these at home ever since we have acquired some bottles. And I have to say, as somebody who made them several different times for a video that we're doing with Diplomatico, it was never a difficult drink to make, and it always tasted good. Go check them out. Go check out Diplomatico Rum. Please drink responsibly. Diplomatico Rum, 47% alcohol by volume, imported by Brown-Forman in Louisville, Kentucky. Let's get some quick articles of interest out of the way, shall we?
Yeah.
Where do you want to start?
Well, tell me about what's happening with Barry Keoghan here for Adidas and Manchester United, because isn't he Irish?
He's Irish. I've found that a lot of Irish people do like Manchester United.
Okay.
Like Rory McIlroy, for example, is a big Manchester United fan.
All
Not
right.
a lot of Irish people, but there's a contingent of Irish famous people who I know like Manchester United.
Okay.
Let me put it that way. He's pandering to us, dude. He knows that he's on baby girl probation, maybe even out at this point. He might just be in jail. He's looking.
Don't ring that gong, Randy.
He's looking for early release right now by just doing the hottest new item in soccer fashion, which is the track jacket from Manchester United.
The track jacket's back, huh?
People are loving this track jacket.
Yeah.
Like rival accounts are saying, man, even I can admit this is cold. And I'm
Wow.
like, yeah, it kind of is. But now we got Barry Keoghan doing it. And I'm like, okay, am I going to end up buying one of these track jackets only to wear it one time? I'll wear it in the office for one big game and then never wear it again. Barry's still out for me.
He's still out. Yeah, no, he's got some work to do to get back onto gong status. But yeah, he looks good in this jacket. I think you should get one of these.
I might. We'll see.
We'll
see. There's a lot of good jerseys coming out right now. Like there's it's kind of for Jersey boys like me.
Yeah.
Everyone's feasting. There's a lot of kit reveals coming out ahead of the season. There's a lot of like third kits that are being released right now. They're going to get worn a few times throughout the season. If you really want to go get a great jersey and you are not committed to any team in the world right now, go look up Juventus third kit 24-25 and just go buy one if you want a soccer jersey. It's just an absolute delight. It's a very clean jersey. I don't
got to
think
see this thing.
most people wouldn't know.
Is this it right here?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a little shiny, but it's just got like the single like horse on it. It's just cool. Like it's the coolest Juventus jersey I've seen in a really long time. And I forget the name of the fabric that they're using, but all the jersey heads are very happy that they're bringing back this like 90s fabric that
It's
they
like
used
dazzle
to use.
fabric?
Yeah, I forget
Yeah.
what I forget. There's some term for it. But now Adidas has been doing that, and they've been using the floret in all their new
Right. Yes.
jerseys,
Yeah,
which has
yeah.
made people very happy, including
sure.
me.
Yeah.
The Manchester United one that they did with the floret instead of the Adidas logo is just great. And so, yeah, that this week in footy, this week in Ladcore.
Okay. Well, you're on the watch list, Barry. But that's where you're staying for the time being.
Well, our next one is from a paid-walled article, so I don't want you to bring it up too much, but I do want to talk about this. Randy, you've just gotten into vinyl. What if I told you that now it's time to get into cassettes?
Nope.
No? Not going the cassette route?
Not going to cassette route.
Okay. Apparently Gen Z is loving themselves some cassettes lately. One account said that she brings it on the train with her cassette player,
Okay.
to save phone battery throughout the day.
Hmm.
I said, you know what? That's actually a very good reason. I actually like that reason. It's a little clunky.
Do you wish you had kept all your CDs?
I wish that, yes and no. I wish that I had them
Mm-hmm.
because I think that I would use them. But I also, like, if I had a 5 CD changer in my car right now, I would love to load it with only my old CDs. You
Right,
know what I mean?
right.
Never buy a new CD in my life.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
have only old stuff and be like, you know what? It's throwback time. Let's go to the changer.
Yeah.
There's also the part of me that knows that I didn't take care of my CDs very well. They were scratched. They were dinged up. I didn't keep any of the jewel cases because I put them all into the sleeves. If I had all the cases and stuff like that, I think I'd love to have it with my vinyl collection, but I don't have any of it.
I had nowhere to put them. I had so many CDs. I had to get rid of them all.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
my parents might have a book of mine like in the garage somewhere, but it's probably disgusting.
It's honestly probably okay because my CD collection was weird and bloated, and I was just like, we would like me and Ross, we'd like hit Best Buy on a Tuesday when albums dropped and just like buy 4 new CDs.
Yeah,
didn't even matter. I'd never heard the full album. I was just like, oh yeah, sure, Chingy new album drop, sure. Let's get it.
If it's like mid-February and the boys are just bored out of their minds
Yeah.
and we've already played 8 hours of FIFA that day, it was like, all right, let's pile in the Subaru. We're going to Sam Goody.
Yeah. Oh, new Jaquan, sure, I'll buy the whole entire album.
Yeah, sure. I'd love a whole ass album of Jaquan.
Just to have Tipsy on there.
I'll play. Yeah, it's going to be worn out in the tipsy side of things, but I own about 8 cassettes.
Okay.
And I've never listened to one of them.
I mean, shouldn't it be easy for you to just get like a little cassette player to hook up to the vinyl?
Yeah. I just haven't done it.
Okay.
and I don't know how fast I'm running.
I cannot imagine
that's going to be around Christmas.
You know,
this
people
year.
love the quality of like vinyl of that. That's not going to ring true.
I don't think it's going to translate.
Cassette, right?
Not for me, at least.
And cassette, pretty shitty quality.
Like my mind was legitimately blown when I heard like my record player for the first time because I was like, oh yeah, this does sound really fucking good. Wow. Okay, it makes sense that people spend money on this.
Yeah,
but I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze on the cassette side of things. It seems a little try hard for me.
Yeah,
you're doing a lot. It's not. This might actually be above putting a book in your back pocket, walking around with a cassette player on your like belt. It's like, okay, bud. Okay. We get it. You're in your own world. You're happy. You need to be less happy.
What's next?
Stop dancing down the streets. Monk mode. Liam Gallagher, we talked about him going monk mode for a while, but now it's caught on. I'm just going to read something from the after school newsletter about it because it's also a paywalled article. But she had a good quote from it that she had pulled from the article.
Okay.
It says, but unlike Martin Scorsese's movie, Young Wealth preaches discipline. Exhibit A, monk mode. A key principle in the teenage entrepreneurial community, which sounds so terrible. So terrible. A social media trend that encourages unplugging. Monk mode implores people to isolate themselves, establish a productive routine, renounce life's guilty pleasures, and work on one goal or project for a specific amount of time. For Neo, monk mode involves taking an ice bath early in the morning and at bedtime rereading The Creature from Jekyll Island by G. Edward Griffin, a, quote, terribly boring book about the Federal Reserve.
Okay.
Are you going monk mode on anything, Barrett? You got anything you got to hunker down on and knock out?
I don't think so. I don't think monk mode is for me. Although I guess sometimes I go monk mode. Like every once in a while, I'll do a drive with no music.
You raw dog it?
No podcast, no music.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's when I go monk mode sometimes.
My buddy and I,
very rarely though.
My buddy and I I think we did have monk mode, but we didn't call it monk mode. We called it OP, which was short for own program. We would just say, I'm doing my own program today.
Okay.
Don't talk to me. If you call me, I'm probably not going to answer.
Okay.
And he and I would text each other beforehand and be like, hey, I'm going to OP the next 3 days. Don't even bother reaching out. I'll reach out to you after. Like and for some reason there was something a little freeing about just being like, no, I'm doing my own program. Don't talk to me. But I don't know if teenagers need to be worried about being entrepreneurs and hunkering down to read terrible books about the Federal Reserve. That's just me.
Speaking of monk mode, do you think it's a good idea for me to listen to the 2-hour Huberman podcast on what alcohol does to your brain?
Yeah, do it
on my way to a 2-week vacation.
No, if you've got time, listen to it 4 times. Yeah, I think you just listen to it. I think you really ingrain it in your system.
Just show up.
What's your flight plan?
I'm going to do a little reading.
Okay.
I'm going to enjoy the meal service.
There you go.
And then I'm gonna
don't get the short rib.
Okay.
Do not get the short rib.
Why do I not want the short rib?
Because it gave me food poisoning, and it was a dark day on that flight. It was one of the darkest days.
Ooh, that is tough.
Yeah, they were out of the vegetarian option.
Okay.
Which I had ordered before the flight. And they came up to me in the middle of the flight and she said, sir, we have a vegetarian on the flight who didn't select a meal and we only have one more zucchini ravioli left. Is there any way that you would give it to her? And I was like, of course I will.
They did actually email me about meal selection this week. I guess I better
be careful, Barrett.
I guess I better get in there and
don't just get in there and start checking things off. If you have any dietary problems or anything, just skew it. It's not going to be your best meal of the trip, no matter what.
Yeah,
but so don't try to get there.
Okay, the last time that I was business or first and on an international flight was like nearly a decade ago. And man, it's fun. It's awesome.
It's the best.
We cashed in every single point on Chase Point that we had.
I have 0 points right now.
To go first on this trip. And like, yeah, I want to acclimate and get some sleep or whatever. But like, I also want to enjoy the experience a little bit because this is not something that we get to do very often.
Yeah.
And like, I remember what it was like. And it's like, they will not stop pouring you red wine or whiskey if you don't want them to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna restrain myself, but I would like to enjoy the perks a little bit. But yeah, probably watch a movie, probably read a little bit, enjoy some of the service up there, and then try to catch some Z's. I
love it.
Yeah,
I love it. Yeah, I'm downloading movies. I'm gonna read on the way home, not the way there.
Okay.
I'm gonna try. I should read on the way there, but I'm always too excited to read.
Yeah, True. We'll see. We'll see if I read. The movies are always such a, it's always so easy to just dive in.
Oh, it just hits so different on a plane. Bear, do you have any thoughts on the Anthony Bourdain biopic or biopic?
Biopic? I always used to say biopic. I like that better still. But
it's an argument.
But apparently it's biopic.
It's biopic. I don't know what it is. I don't care.
Well, I don't know who Dominic Sessa is, but to tell you the truth, this biopic interests me a lot more than the Bob Dylan or the Bruce Springsteen one. Like this is way more up my alley.
I can't take Timothée Chalamet seriously as Bob Dylan.
Same.
It's like impossible. It's a really bad casting. Even if he does a good job, which I hope he does because I do like him, they should have never casted him for this. He just doesn't fit the vibe. They needed someone that has the same vibe as Bob Dylan to just roll in, be Bob Dylan, roll out.
Yeah.
They needed to shrink Austin Butler. I do think the proper take that I saw
maybe I do recognize this guy.
Was just someone saying Anthony would hate this. And I was like, yeah, he would. He probably would. Yeah. I've always thought that he would dislike me if he met me in person before he died. But I don't think he would love that it's being made already.
Speaking of biopics and sort of biopics, another movie that I am excited to see next month is the SNL movie about the very first SNL night.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, that's
going to be great.
Yes.
Well, I don't know who's in it.
Can I interest you in Cousin Greg from Succession?
You can.
Yeah.
Only while he's acting, not at the bar.
And some other folks.
Who's he going to be?
There's some names. Oh, Kai Gerber's in it.
Who's Cousin Greg going to be?
He is. I think he is both Jim Henson and another tall guy.
He's two people?
I think so.
You can't be two people.
What is that guy? What is that guy's name? Why his name is slipping my mind right now.
I don't know. I think I blocked it out when he started getting canceled. I was scared. Hold on. We've got Gabriel LaBelle as Lorne Michaels.
Yeah.
Corey Michael Smith as Chevy Chase. Just not familiar with everybody right now. Matt Wood as John Belushi. Tall order for Matt. Ella Hunt as Gilda Radner.
Oh, Rachel Sennett's in it.
Dylan O'Brien as Dan Aykroyd. Tall, big shoes for him. Lamorne Morris as Garrett Morris. Kim Matula as Jane Curtin. Emily Fairness, Lorraine Newman. Rachel Sennett as Rosie Schuster. Yeah, this is. I feel like if I did research on the other cast members that I don't know, I would be this is probably going to be awesome.
Yeah. He's Jim Henson and Andy Kaufman. Nicholas Braun is playing Andy Kaufman and Jim Henson.
That's so bizarre. What? Yeah, I guess so. Okay,
but
he's doing dual roles in the film as both Henson and alt comedy legend Andy Kaufman.
But as an SNL diehard, and you being one of the only other ones that I know, I gotta put this on your radar.
Yep. There aren't too many of us out there that are still watching every episode. I still haven't watched. The only episode I didn't watch last season was a Lordy.
Yeah, don't watch
What's
it.
wrong with me?
Yeah, don't watch it.
I know, but come on.
Thank you, Randy.
He's a baby girl. Wish list time. I need you to fire yours up because I need to put my link in here.
Okay, let me pull my let me pull my link back up. Okay, this is more of a I'm not throwing any more fall items on the wish list. I need more time to think about it. So I'm dropping a just cop / imminent cop on here. And this is going to bore the hell out of people. And it's almost at the end of August, so nobody's going to want these. But I'm both embarrassed and proud of this purchase. And it also is going to lead into to one more fall trend that I want to talk about. So we've talked a little bit about the sandal packing situation for these trips.
Oh yeah.
And the Burke EVAs do not collapse down very well. And I wanted a pair of flip-flops, and wait, those are not the ones. So I saw this pair on, I saw them online. I'd mentioned that I was at the Away store. The Faraday store is right across the street. So I popped in, and I like a light colored flip-flop. That's very important to me. They're doing a little collab with Reef. I got them. I got the bottle opener.
Oh, you got the bottle opener? Look at you.
Baby. Yes, I sure did.
Yeah, this guy was in a fraternity. He was in a fraternity.
I looked down at the bottle opener and said, am I really going to do this? And then I thought to myself, yeah, I'm going to.
Hell yes, Barrett.
Yeah.
I'm for it. I'm for it. I think flip-flops have a bad name, and I think they have their place in the world.
All right. So here's what I wanted to mention, because I want to be out on Front Street about this. The one thing that I have preached since the beginning of giving fashion advice, so basically a decade of this, is men don't wear flip-flops anywhere but the beach or the pool or on vacation or wherever they make sense for your environment. And especially the cardinal rule, do not wear jeans with flip-flops. I'm seeing jeans with flip-flops and stuff. I'm seeing lookbooks do jeans and flip-flops.
What? Okay. Is it just jeans? What if dudes are wearing chinos and flip-flops? Is it just pants and flip-flops?
Enter the Stussy Fall 24 lookbook.
Yeah, dude, let's go. Yes.
They're doing they're
dude, it's the surf culture, dude.
And this is not the first time I've seen it. I think as far back as I think late last year, maybe it was early this year, but like I saw this happening in women's because thong sandals and flip-flops with like the strap, but with like a kitten heel, like all that stuff is kind of happening over in women's, and I've seen it with jeans, and I kind of fuck with it for women's. I never thought that they would try to push this on us for men. I'm not doing it. This is not going to be a fisherman sandal situation.
It's going to.
This has always been my cardinal rule. You cannot do this. You cannot wear flip-flops with jeans.
It's not good.
And I am planting my flag in the ground and saying right here and right now on this podcast that I'm never doing flip-flops and jeans, no matter how trendy it is. And I hope that none of you will either.
I'll probably do flip-flops and pants at some point in the next 2 years.
Let's nip this in the bud and not let this happen.
If flip-flops get more popular than they are now, I guarantee I'll do flip-flops and like some pants. I guarantee I'll do it. I used to do it in Michigan all the time on a cool night.
Yeah.
But I think it was more acceptable up there.
Yes.
We didn't get to wear flip-flops that often.
Well, and you're close to like in a beach town.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You're going to get some chinos, maybe roll them up, throw your slides on, flip-flops, whatever. Like I get it. It's, that's not terrible.
Yeah. In a metropolitan area though, that's harder.
It's got to make sense with your environment is what I'm saying, but so you can do the cuff chino, maybe a baggy one these days with a little flip-flop.
Cuffachino.
Like, I'll listen, but
I don't know why I like that so
I'm
much.
not doing, we can't do this with jeans. We can't have this happen.
I'm going to do that every single time I cuff some pants now. I'm cuffing a chino. Sorry, what were you saying?
He's telling the joke.
Imagine the catastrophe if this trickles all the way down back into the mainstream and we're just letting dudes go to the bars with flip-flops and jeans again.
I'm going to love it because on the scale of things that piss me off when I see them in public, this doesn't really register that high up just because I don't think about it. But I love how much it riles other people up. So I really want it to come back because understandably, people are very upset about this type of thing. But I don't get as upset. And so I want to see the chaos.
I can't remember where else I saw it, but I did. I saw it. This is the Stussy Fall 24 lookbook came out today. And I pulled this open and the very first image is the one that I just had up on the screen. And I was shook, man. Cause that's the second time I've seen it in the last week. And I'm a little nervous about it.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. Well, I'm going straight to fall. I'm
Okay.
buying something I've thought about buying for the last, 3 years. It's just a shoe that I used to have in my rotation all the time. I haven't had a pair in a while, and I think it's time to bring them back because I'm always struggling to find a boot that I can wear anywhere in the middle of fall as a dad. I'm going to the classic Clark's desert boot.
Wow.
I might go Cola suede. I don't know. I don't know what color I'm going to do. I used to do desert boots all the time, and I think that it meshes well with the rest of my closet without having to worry about much. And it's kind of one of those silhouettes that doesn't get old for me. And so I don't really care if it's in or out at this point. I'm probably going to wear the hell out of these things whenever I get them. I got some when I was living in San Francisco in like 2010, and I wore them the entire winter. They looked great, all patinaed and beat in, and I kind of miss it. And so I think I'm going to take a little walk down Nostalgia Road and get some desert boots. And I don't know if I'm going to go with the Clarks specifically, but there were some pairs that I saw a while ago that were like gray suede that were kind of nice and things like that. So I think I might try to mix and match and see, but I think I'm going to hit the desert boot silhouette for once.
Okay. Just an interesting little tidbit here. A couple of months ago, I was actually doing a little bit of research. Conversation came up, and I was studying.
Look at you!
I was studying the trends of the Clark's Wallaby versus the desert boot.
Okay.
Now, if
when did it peak? What year? I can't read that.
Yeah, if you're part of the hashtag menswear era, then you know exactly where that peak was. I will pull it up here. It was, damn. I'll have to do this again to pull exactly that up. But it was like late 2014, I believe, is that high red peak for the desert boot.
It's going to come back up eventually.
You can see that the Wallaby has been it has never reached the heights that the Clark's desert boot reached over that 2013 to 2015 period of time. But look at that arc, and then the Wallaby just,
See, this is a scenario
as a horse.
This is a scenario where if I was wearing a pair of Wallabies this winter, I would think that people might think that I'm like trying to dress younger.
Okay.
Whereas if I wore a pair of these, even if they were like, uber popular in 2014, we said, like I almost think that some people might be like, oh, he's zagging because he's not doing the Wallaby.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
sure.
Also, I don't know. As far as the actual silhouette itself goes, I don't love the Wallaby. And I think it's because I don't like how it looks on my feet. Last time I held a pair, I thought to myself, why do you not like these, Will? These are sick. It was at, how did we decide it was pronounced in Chicago?
Notre?
Was it Notre?
No,
it was
Notre.
Notre. Yeah, it was at Notre in Chicago. They had some, and I picked them up, and I was like, I could easily buy some of these. I think if the right pair of Wallabies hit me at the right time, I would buy them over the desert boot, because I'm not totally pot committed to this. But this is almost more of a placeholder for a simple boot that I can wear all the time in the winter. And right now, this is my leading candidate. I could go Wallaby though.
We've got Clark stores here now. Just jump in there, bring your favorite Drake's pants and try them both on. See what you think.
I think the Abercrombie pants need to be in the equation here more than anything. I can't just go brown on brown.
Okay, do the Abercrombie pants.
But I do wear the Drake's pants almost I got to get that cost per wear down. So I have been wearing them like every single day. So I do need to take those into account as well.
I know that's right.
Just hold on. Let me change really quick before I decide to get these. I'm going to try them out with some different pants. I love the idea. Ever since I mentioned it, I love the idea of you just bringing all your clothes in for vacation and packing in the place and making sure that everything fits right. Just come in with a giant garbage bag full of clothes. Just be like, I'm just going to test it out real quick. I did spend like 25 minutes in the Away store, just like dilly-dallying, checking out all the colors, opening every single thing. Like, I'm sure the girl was like, what is happening? What is going on? I feel bad honestly, I think the way that you and I probably shop probably weirds out most sales associates at this point. They're like, why is he looking at everything? Like, are they shopping for like another store that's like taking our brands right now? Like, they're really looking at this stuff.
Yeah.
Well, boys, see you guys in September.
Sounds great.
It's been fun.
I'll miss you.
Yep. Everyone stay tuned on the Instagrams for the whole squad and see what we're up to.
Have a great end of summer, everybody.
All right. Later.